What's up, college football fans, quarterback fans? Welcome to another QB Spotlight video. Today we're talking about the Big Ten East, right? I know it's been a while, it's been probably a month or so, but we are going to be consistent, I promise. We're going to have videos out on the reg. Again, anything related to the quarterback position is fair game here. So we're going to take some time over these next month or two until the season starts and preview every single team and go through each quarterback room, right? We're spending a bit more time with the Power 5, but we're going to get the group of 5 teams as well. But today, we'll start with the Big Ten East, and it's a really interesting, I think conference, division, if you will, in a conference, for the simple fact only 2 returning starters are coming back, right? So you got 5 new starting quarterbacks taking over this year with several competitions going on currently, right? But we got Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy returning, and then Tagovailoa for Maryland returning, right? Two of the better quarterbacks in the conference, if not the top 2, you can make an argument for. So with J.J. McCarthy, I think he's one of the top, if not the top quarterback in all the Big Ten, even though he kind of gets overlooked at times. But I think he's an underrated quarterback. I think he's on a team that doesn't need him to throw 4 touchdowns and 300 yards every game. I think he has the capability to do that if he had to. I think he showed that towards the end. I think he showed the ability to push the ball downfield. Even in the loss against TCU, he still had some good highlight type plays. His only real struggle last year was the Illinois game. And so I think he was able to just manage the offense like he's supposed to. I mean, Michigan won 10 games by more than 20, right? Like, what are you supposed to do? There's a reason why he didn't put up these crazy huge numbers like some of the other quarterbacks did, for the simple fact he did not need to do that to win, right? Caleb Williams, USC needed him to have Superman games every week, right? Michigan did not need that from J.J. McCarthy. And in doing that, he did a great job taking care of the ball, right? His TD to interception ratio was better than 4-1. I think it was like a 22 passing TDs to, I believe, 5 interceptions, which is outstanding. And he just ran the offense like he's supposed to run it. Again, only real struggle was in that Illinois game. And I think it was easy for him to get settled in, right? I think there's a reason why he didn't struggle that much, and that's because of the play of the offensive line. He was only sacked 12 games all last year. So it's just overall just a solid quarterback. You know what you're getting. And if they do decide to push the ball downfield, take a bit more shots, which I don't know if they need to win, but if they do, then I think you could see him getting, some more publicity, right? It's not always super exciting watching him play for the simple fact it's the type of offense that he's in, but he's been consistent, he's been solid, and he led Michigan to a fantastic season, right? If you put J.J. McCarthy in the same conference or the same offensive scheme, or if he had the offensive coach as like a Lane Kiffin or Lincoln Riley, he's probably putting up some pretty big numbers. Like, he would fit that Lincoln Riley or that Lane Kiffin system especially. He would fit that system really, really well, and they'd be able to utilize his legs, right? But again, he's in a different system. He doesn't get as much probably credit as he deserves, but he had a hell of a season. I think he's probably the best quarterback returning in the Big Ten. Number 2 would be Tagovailoa. And again, we're not ranking these quarterbacks right now. I'm just hitting the top 2 returning stars right now. But number 2 would be Tagovailoa. Even though he's coming off kind of a down year in 2022 compared to 2021, his yards per attempt are down, completion percentage down, TDs as well. I still think he's probably one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten. He's got a lot of experience. He's put up some big numbers. That 2021 season was a really good year for him. Touchdown passes, touchdown yards, did a lot of good things for Maryland. And he's one of the reasons why Maryland's kind of been trending upwards, if you will. Still have some room for improvement, right? They got a new OC coming in. They lost Dan Enos. He went to Arkansas. So a new OC is coming in. As a team, they've been trending where they need to go. I think Tagovailoa to take that next step. If he could find a way to get a win over the big dogs, that would be huge for him. But Tagovailoa coming in, still a lot to prove, but still, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten, especially the Big Ten East coming back. And with him at quarterback, there's always a chance, right? His biggest thing is eliminating the snowball effect, where like one bad play leads to another bad play. It's an effect that causes, or it's a cause that affects lots of quarterbacks, where it's hard to get one bad play out of your head. And also, like him, if he has several good plays back to back, he's really rolling, right? But once a bad play happens, sometimes it's kind of snowballs into another play. So with Tagovailoa, eliminate the bad plays, or eliminate the bad plays that are caused from another bad play, if that makes sense, right? Again, Tagovailoa, a lot of talent moving forward. So the rest of this list is either open competition or new starter, right? Let's go talk about Penn State quarterback Drew Aller, because he's a quarterback getting a lot of hype right now, and rightfully so. big-time recruit. I think he was a 5-star recruit. If he wasn't the top quarterback, he was one of the top quarterbacks in his class, depending which recruiting service you look at. And there's a really, really good interview of him that was put out, I think, last week. The Adam Brennan show, I think that's the last name. But anyways, they do a great job. So if you're a Penn State fan, if you're interested in listening to him talk, I'd go check that out. I'll link that down below if you want to check that out. But Drew Aller didn't play a ton last year, right? Some mop-up duty, but I don't know if you remember in the opening game, I think it was against Purdue, right? But Sean Clifford was banged up a little bit, and Aller had to play some serious snaps in the second half. I think Penn State may have been down by 3 in the third quarter when Aller came in. He completed a few passes, showed a big arm, and showed that the moment really wasn't too big for him. But I think that was a good experience to get thrown in there, right? Got his feet wet a little bit there. So I think there's a lot to be excited about Aller, a lot of hype, and I think it's justified. And I think we're going to find out fairly quickly how Penn State's going to be in the play of Drew Aller. If he comes out firing, Penn State could come out 4-0. If he doesn't, there's some pretty tough teams that they play at the beginning of the year. 3 out of the first games are pretty tough teams to open up with. They got West Virginia, Illinois, and Iowa. So I think we'll find out real quick, what we got in Drew Aller or what areas of improvement that he needs to make. Now, West Virginia isn't some powerhouse by any means, but it's not like you're opening up with a Charlotte, right, or like an FIU or something, right? You're opening up with a decent Power 5 school. I know they've been down, but still West Virginia. So you got West Virginia opening up with. Then you got Illinois. I don't know if they're the second game or not, but they're one of the first 4 games. You got Illinois, and they lost a lot on defense, but they're going to be tough. They got a new quarterback coming in, so their offense is probably going to be, like it was last year, run the ball up, throw some downfield as well. But their defense, I think, even though they lost a lot on defense, they're still going to be sound, right? They're still going to know their scheme, their system. So I think that could be a tough test for Aller. And then, of course, Iowa. Iowa's always going to have a tough defense. Cade McNamara at quarterback. Again, we're going to talk about McNamara and the Big Ten West quarterbacks on the next show, but Drew Aller, it's a tough opening road. So if he can get through that can really give you a lot of confidence. Then you should be excited as a Penn State fan. But regardless, a lot of hype, a lot of excitement. I think it's all fair, and we're excited to see those first few games with Drew Aller, right? So, all right, let's get into Ohio State. We got Kyle McCord and Devin Brown, and this is one that I'm kind of back and forth as far as I could see any quarterback winning it. Brown, I think, injured a hand or pinky at the end of spring, so he wasn't able to compete in spring practice. I'm assuming he's probably back or close to back to throwing now. I'm not a doctor, but just guessing. But it wasn't like Kyle McCord came out and just took the bull by the horns in the spring game. You know what I mean? It's still a competition. If he came out and just killed it, I don't think Ohio State would have a problem naming him the guy. So I think it's his job to lose. Just from the outside looking in, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's his job to lose. I think he's got the experience. He started against Akron in 2021, had to start, did well. He has plenty of real experience. I know he didn't have a ton of playing time last year necessarily, but the numbers are really good. It was 16 to 20 or something in mop-up duty, and he had that start the year before. So he has some experience. He has a big arm. Teammates with Garrett Wilson. I know everyone already knows that, especially if you're an Ohio State fan. And he's more mobile than people give him credit for. He's not as mobile as Devin Brown by any means, but he can at least – he's not a statue, if that makes sense, right? But it's big arm. I would anticipate him starting just because he has the experience and has some reps. But it wouldn't surprise me either way, especially with Devin Brown. Even though McCord's more of a pocket guy, Brown is able to move a little bit more. 24/7 has him compared to Sam Darnold, who, again, isn't going to beat someone on the edge, but can move in the pocket, can throw off platform, can use his legs to separate and use his legs to set up throws. Again, my guess is McCord. I don't know exactly right, but I think they're in good shape regardless. And I do think it is fair to talk about, could there be a potential drop-off? You hear everyone talk about, regardless who the Ohio State quarterback is, they're going to be good. Regardless who it is, they're going to be good, which I agree with. I think is probably true. But at the same time, I think if you're a fan or if you're just looking in, I think it's okay to have some up and down or some growing pains. The quarterback position's hard, man. And so especially with a lot of hype like Ohio State has, you got a ton of weapons. Even if a quarterback is down from C.J. Stroud, doesn't mean they're playing bad, right? It just means that they have a dip in performance. They can still be playing good. Ohio State could probably still win the Big Ten or get close to it. without stellar quarterback play, just with good play or average play, right? Again, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I think it's fair to question and fair to talk about, what the level of drop-off is going to be. But at the same time, whoever ends up starting could very well be the best quarterback in the Big Ten too, right? They open up with, let's see, I got it right here. They open up with Indiana. Indiana is not going to be very good this year, I don't think. Their biggest test, or their first big test, comes in Week 4 against Notre Dame. So if you're Ohio State, I think you have a few games to kind of figure out the kinks if you need to. As long as you're ready by the 4th game against Notre Dame, then I think you're in a good position, right? Because Notre Dame's going to be down, right? They're going to have Hartman throwing the ball, who is hopefully going to have a good year. Anyways, we'll talk about Notre Dame later. But again, Week 4 or Game 4 is when Ohio State quarterbacks need to be ready Ohio State needs to have their quarterbacks ready and kind of rocking and rolling. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Michigan State. And if we did this video maybe a month ago, maybe we would open up with Michigan State, try to get some more hits and leave with Peyton Thorne, but we didn't, right? So again, Michigan State, another team that has an ongoing quarterback competition right now and is losing their quarterback late in the cycle with Peyton Thorne. And we made a video talking about Peyton Thorne. I thought he was a better quarterback than given credit for. Even though he struggled in 2022, had ups and downs and just dropped off in play essentially. His 2021 season was pretty damn good, right? Set the single season passing touchdown record with 27, over 3,000 yards passing, 8.3 yards per attempt. So if you're a Michigan State fan and you saw how he played in 2022, I think there's a few things come to mind. One, man, he just got lucky in 2021. What happened to the drop-off? Or two, you're like, okay, maybe he did play well and then a drop-off happened. Or three, what's going on coaching wise? Did something happen with the coaching staff? Like what happened? Did he regress as a quarterback? Is that Thorne's fault? Is the coaching's fault? I think there's probably a bunch of fair questions to ask. But Thorne no longer being an option, Thorne being gone, I didn't think he was nearly as bad as people probably did or would throw on him. But again, being a former quarterback, I'm always going to take some defense for these guys, right? So anyways, enough about Peyton Thorne. Who's going to be the guy for Michigan State this year? We got two names. One is Noah Kim, and then another one is Katin Houser, which I think I'm pronouncing right. But Noah Kim probably going to be the guy. Maybe I'm completely wrong in saying that, just from reading the tea leaves and hearing some stuff from practice. My guess is Kim. And this is a quote that we have here. Yeah, seems as if Kim has gotten good reports. His ability to run could really help him as well. So different reports coming in from Noah Kim about his ability as a runner and just ability to improve over time. Houser has gotten good reports as well. Quotes talking about him getting more comfortable and getting more in line with the offense, which is also big as well. So again, this is going to be I'm not sure who they open up with. I totally did not put that down, but I think the quicker Michigan State can get a quarterback, probably the better for him. And if I'm a fan or if I'm involved with the program somehow, I still am interested in trying to figure out why Thorne had that drop off, because that would be a bit concerning. But Noah Kim going to use his legs a bit more if he's the guy, and he could have that offense hopefully moving forward. Michigan State certainly hopes so, but it's still a big question mark there. All right, two more teams in the Big Ten East, and then we'll wrap the Big Ten East. We've got Indiana and Rutgers, and if you look at any quarterback ranking right now, they're going to be towards the end, which doesn't mean they have to stay that way. It means if it means they start off there and maybe they have a good year and pop up. But let's talk about them real quick. Rutgers, as a team last year, had 1,800 yards passing, 11 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. So improved play is a must. There's no way around it, right? Improved play is a must if you are a Rutgers fan or Rutgers player in general. If you end up being the quarterback, then you have to have improved play from that, right? I think they had a few guys last year. It's looking like it's going to be between Evan Simon and Gavin Wimsatt, if I'm pronouncing that right. Regardless who wins, you have to improve quarterback play. You're not going to be very successful in today's age of football with those type of stats, right? Then Indiana, they lost Connor Bazelak. He transferred. He was the team's quarterback last year who transferred from Mizzou to Indiana, and I believe he now transferred to Bowling Green. Don't quote me on that. Check it yourself. But he has left, and so now they're up in Indiana has a quarterback competition as well, right? Tavon Jackson from Tennessee, who I actually liked out of high school, but Tennessee is so loaded at that quarterback position. Probably smart for Jackson to transfer, and he's going to be competing against Brendan Sorsby. So not much experience right there. They open up with Ohio State. Not the best team you want to open up with, but who knows? Maybe they find a spark or something, right? But again, Tavon Jackson, liked him out of high school. Brendan Sorsby, don't really know much about him. I know there's not a lot of experience in that room, so I would not be surprised if there's a few quarterbacks playing opening up, but hopefully a guy takes charge in the fall and is their guy for him, right? So again, big takeaway for the Big Ten East. A lot of new starters coming in, right? A lot of new starters. Only 2 returning starters, and then 5 new guys being broken in, or several competitions still going on right now. So again, the Big Ten East. We'll talk about the Big Ten West next. The Group of 5 school we're going to talk about today is Coastal Carolina with Grayson McCall, someone that you've probably heard of, but I would encourage you to watch him if you haven't checked him out, right? Grayson McCall, one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football, has put up bonker numbers. Yards per attempt is through the roof. Touchdown to interception ratio is through the roof. He's a guy who was highly rumored to be potentially transferring from Coastal Carolina to a big SEC school. He didn't. To his credit, he stayed. He's at Coastal Carolina. He's put out some favorable quotes talking about I bleed teal or something like that. And so, Coastal Carolina, Grayson McCall could start a lot of these schools I just talked about, by the way. He's a stud, right? He's a guy that has some potential NFL, or has NFL potential if he has a big time season. He's not just a system quarterback. He plays really well in that system Jamey Chadwell had. Now Chadwell's gone, but he played really well in that system. But I think he's someone that could fit in other systems as well. So again, that's our Group of 5 quarterback breakdown for the day. Coastal Carolina, Grayson McCall. So quarterback fans, college football fans, if you enjoyed this video or this show, content, however you watched it, thank you. We're going to be consistent. We're putting this out on the reg. Let us know your thoughts below. What did you agree or disagree with about the Big Ten East quarterbacks? What did I get wrong? Let us know in the comments below. Who do you like? What do you think about the Big Ten East quarterback just circle and the quarterback sphere in general? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this stuff, please consider subscribing, liking, all that YouTube stuff. It does help. And we also put out quarterback content on a weekly basis. We've done a lot of film breakdowns that we are now transitioning to our Patreon account. So if you want to join that Patreon account so you can actually look at the film breakdowns and kind of see what or how we go through breakdown a quarterback, I'll link that as well. We have a Discord group with quarterback talks as well. Anything related to the quarterback position is fair game here. Long outro. I apologize. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.